Hey there, blues fans. John here with the Blues Guitar Institute, and this is your Tuesday Blues, lesson number 171. If you're new to Tuesday Blues, this is where we take some cool acoustic blues concepts and we break them down into their core elements, and then we build them back into something really cool and super bluesy. Definitely hit the subscribe button if you want to check out these lessons when they go live each and every week. It's a great way to show your support for these lessons. Let me know that you dig what's happening here. And if you've been around BGI or Tuesday Blues for a while and you keep coming back and you're watching these videos and learning, then I just want to take a second and say thank you. I'm really glad to have you following along with what's happening and super happy to be part of your guitar journey. With that in mind, let's get to today's lesson. Now, this lesson is going to really reach back, way back into the BGI archives with a video that I did on the brush up technique. That technique I was using heavily in this little piece, which is very similar to the opener in that video. And I'll link up to that video, and I highly recommend you check it out because we dive a little deeper into the technique in that brush up video. Today what we're going to do is really play through what I just played for you. I'm going to show you how to get that down into your playing, which is going to really put the brush up technique to the test. And really, it's just one more technique that you can use to add some dynamic life to your playing. Back in Tuesday Blues number 170, we actually picked up a flat pick and we started talking about cleaning up our strumming. Well, this is another way to think about strumming without a pick at all. And you're going to see when we start tackling the nuts and bolts of this that it really has a strummy sound to it. So with that in mind, let's go ahead and dive right into the piece. Now, this is a 12-bar blues shuffle-based rhythm, and it's in E. So we're going to start off on our E chord, and we're going to start off with this very familiar blues sound here. But already, right off the rip, I'm using this brush up technique. I'm kind of thinking about this as if I had a flat pick, I would strum down and then up. Well, for a finger picker, at least the way I'm doing this here, my downstroke is going to happen with my thumb. So I'm just going to push through the 6th string and the 5th string here. And then I'll do my upstroke with my index finger. And again, same 2 strings. But it's a lighter stroke. It's not as forceful as the downbeat. There we go. You get that going. And you just alternate like down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. So it has that strumming feel, that laid back feel. And that's what we're going for. But we're also going to throw in a lot of brush strokes, the up brush strokes, with some chordal movements. And we're going to get into that right at the end of this first bar. Here's what that sounds like. Now, this is maybe a little subtle use of the brush up. What I'm doing is at the end of this bar, I'm hitting the top 2 strings. I'm brushing up through those top 2 strings with my index finger. Then I'm sliding, and I'm going to pick that with my thumb on the 3rd string from the A up to the B. And then I'm going to do a brush up again. And I'll kind of drag this index finger along on the fretboard from the 1st fret to the 3rd fret, even though I'm not really playing it, just because this is a very useful shape. As you're going to see, we're going to use it a lot more. Let's practice that. So we're using the brush up technique in a couple different ways. We're using it as part of the main shuffle rhythm, but then also on these higher strings here. Then we're going to move into a little lick that kind of answers that. So we start with a little brush up, and again we're placing this at the end of the bar. And the brush up is again the the top 2 strings. Then we're going to do this slide where, and you can do this with really any finger that you want to as far as on the fretboard. But what I'm going to do right now is with my ring finger, I'm going to slide back from the 4th fret, so the B note, back down to the A, and then pull off pretty quickly to the open G. And I used the index finger to do the slide there, but and then I'm going to hammer on from the open 4th string to my E note on the 2nd fret 4th string. And those two really kind of set up somewhat of a call and response idea. They happen at the same spot at the end of bar 1 and the end of bar 2, and they really complement each other. So let's play those two back to back. And then we're going to play through a repeat of bar 1. And then we're really going to put the brush up technique to the test on the top 3 strings, because we're going to enter into this little section where we're playing a lot of triplets, and it's just really going to call on this index finger to strum through it. All right, so here's the rhythm though. This is really the chord, and the basic rhythm pattern is that triplet, 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet. Let's hear how we fit this into the 4th bar. So again, we're going to play this bar 1, bar 2, bar 3, so what we're doing is 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3. Break the triplets right there at the end. 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3, and 4. And then we're going to move into our chord change. But let's make sure we've got these 4 bars in E first. 2, 3. Where we're going. We're going right here to the A7. So fret up your A7 in this way. You can use whatever finger, but when I mean this way, I'm really saying make sure that we get this 7th of the chord, the flat 7th, this G note on the 1st string. You can play an A7 in a number of ways, but what we're going to do is play it here in this voicing, okay? And here's the strumming that we're going to do. All right, for this bar, we're doing more brush up with our index finger here. And I like to sneak this little slide in at the very end of the 1st measure in A. And really what's happening is I'm just kind of taking the chord shape, flattening it, so kind of flattening that bar to the 1st fret, and then plucking with a good deal of attack on the 3rd string and sliding from the A flat up to the A on that 3rd string. And that's the strumming pattern that you're going to do for both of these bars. Then we're going to end with a nice little micro lick. We're going to hit the open 1st string, the D note on the 2nd string 3rd fret, and then back to the open 1st. Then we're back into our E for this part of the progression, and we're going to move back into this triplet rhythm here. So we've got this bit here in E. It's the 1st bar, the 2nd, And that's the strumming pattern for these two bars in E. We're going to play this little partial E7 here, and really just kind of flatten it and play around with that chromatic flattening. And work through our strumming with really just this chord and the flattened version of this chord. And again, this is coming from an E7, just a few notes from it. It's a great chord to use, and it really sings when you play these triplets. All right, so that's the basic pattern. We're going to put it together, and you'll hear the real strumming pattern on that. And of course, you can check the tab as well. But also get creative. Don't get too caught up in the tab. Really, by the time you put these pieces together and you know the entire progression, I highly encourage you to take this and run with it and be creative. And if that means taking this thing and moving it around in a little bit of a different way or different timing, then it's all good, man. Just keep it bluesy and you'll be fine. All right, so moving on though, what we're going to do after this, we're going to move into our B7. So fret up the big B7 here, and then the strumming pattern here is going to be very similar to what we did on that A7 earlier. Then we're going to walk down, back into our A7, and that marker lick again before starting the turnaround. And we're just going to do a basic turnaround here. So what's happening there is you're hitting the open 6th string for a B, then sliding in, doing a triplet rhythm here, and we can use our brush up technique here. We're going to end with this little deal where we do the open 3rd string to the 1st fret 3rd string, so the G to the G sharp, hit the E, that kind of brings us home, and we're kind of spelling out an E sound. But then we really want to get to our 5 chord, the B7, so we're going to do this little move again, but landing on the B. Then we can let our B7 fall in place and strum out. All right, so let's put these bits and pieces together. Here we go. 2, 3, 4. All right, as I said earlier, I really want you to take this, learn it, get it down, and really focus on the brush up technique, and then have some fun with this. Get creative. There's a lot of space in here for you to do a little bit of a different strumming pattern, or like I said, over this E7, flatten that chord in a little bit of a different place. You can really do a lot here to put your own sound, your own creativity to work. That's it for today's lesson. I really appreciate you following along. And if you want to take things to another level, then I highly encourage you to check out the Acoustic Blues Jumpstart. It's a 3-lesson pack that I've got completely free for you. All you have to do is sign up at bluesguitarinstitute.com/start now. You'll register for the course, and then I'll send you out all the information that you need to get started. We cover some cool stuff there. We talk a lot about some quick wins in the blues, like the 12-bar blues pattern, a cool turnaround. There's lots of cool stuff packed into just those 3 lessons. So definitely check that out if you're interested in building a super solid foundation in acoustic blues.